He had an irritation to a wound care product, quite severe. It blistered his stomach, and then as I was tearing it off, I actually tore the skin off with the product.
And welcome to Happy Souls. We have an amazing interview with you today with Mr. James Dutton. He is the founder of Nutricare, who developed these products called Patch. They're bamboo bandaids. Did you know that 20% of people are allergic to bandaids? Well, neither did I. But James Dutton has a remarkable story. He used to work for Dutton Cars, and now he is looking after sustainable products. So please come in and welcome to our Happy Souls interview with James Dutton. If you like this interview, please press subscribe, because we would love to bring you so many more like this. There are some incredible humans in the world making a difference, and we want to bring them all to you. So welcome to Happy Souls. Hello everybody and welcome to Happy Souls. Today we have beautiful James Dutton, who is a mastermind. His story will blow you away. He's gone from Dutton Cars, now we're talking Ferraris, Porsches, Lamborghinis, to now coming into sustainability and products that are really saving lives.
Yep.
So James, tell us about your story. How did you get from here to here?
Thanks for the nice intro.
Thanks for coming.
Where do I start? The journey sort of happened. It evolved on its own. It wasn't one choice or another choice. It happened in my time of life, and I went from racing cars and having fun in that space to work in the family business, and the family business took a different direction to where I was going, and I had a bit of time out at that stage, so I decided to have a break, and we moved down the coast with the family, got away from the city.
Beautiful.
Best way to start life.
You know that there was an article out recently that the beach is actually healing for you?
I think it is.
Absolutely.
And the fact of, just the environment for children, bringing two kids up, two boys running on the sand, that was the tipping point for us. So we moved down the coast, and then a chain of events happened with my younger son and eldest son at the time, with Xavier and Charlie, that turned this little situation that Charlie had, where he had an irritation to a wound care product, quite severe. It blistered his stomach, and then as I was tearing it off, I actually tore the skin off with the product. So it was very, very hard as a parent to go through, obviously seeing him in that pain. And then we tried other products and kept on having the same issues, thinking that he had a problem. And then I went looking on the web trying to find a solution for him, like if there's another alternative solution. My wife's semi-vegan and her sister's a raw vegan, so we were looking down the natural path of what we could find as a solution, and started seeing the numbers of how many people have got the same problem. It wasn't
really
just one. It
opens your eyes when you look into it, huh? We have no idea until we look into the numbers.
Totally, and it wasn't until I started searching under a different thing. It wasn't about a reaction, but it was about irritations, and it was about component problems. We started seeing results coming in from Harvard, from Stanford University, from Monash University, and started seeing the numbers. We compiled those numbers together. It worked out at the time it was about 20%. And it was enough for me to go, well, gee, there's a big problem here. It's not just him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of, if Alicia wasn't using bamboo fibre with her products, with the Jack Organics, and her sisters, she makes using bamboo fibre, and it's obviously compostable, and the natural benefits behind bamboo, it's amazing. And she had a roll of bamboo fabric at home. And so I started cutting up some bamboo fabric, and
at home.
Yeah, and it was actually in the kitchen. It went from the kitchen to the garage, trying to work out how we could redevelop the typical plaster. And we got to the stage of getting it almost as a working prototype, I should say. And then we went to a good friend of mine, Xavier, and went, and I said, look, I need to basically commercialise this. How do we do it? And he's working throughout Asia and all around the world with other branding products. So he said, okay, let me see if I can find a solution. We went through factory after factory after factory after factory. of the supply of the material, and then obviously the making of the product. So
imagine
it was a massive journey.
Toxic products too.
We found a lot more things than when we started with it. We thought, okay, well, it's a natural fabric, and we'll make a natural adhesion with using mineral adhesion, and then we found out of processes that go through on different fabrics and different materials that are used in wound care and medicinal products, which I'm not going to say them, but they're literally nasties.
Isn't it? And as soon as you're aware of exactly what's in what we eat, what we put on our skin, like, if you open up your eyes, it's actually horrible.
There's some pretty bad stuff out there.
Isn't there? Yeah. And it's just, we come victim to marketing ploys, and everyone goes, oh, this is healthier if it says natural or whatever. It just, anyway, as soon as you look into it, it kind of, ruins your life a little bit. So I can't have any of these products.
I can't tick, you know. So one of the things is what we've just done recently is we've actually shied away from the word organic. Even though we're using organic fabrics and organic fibre, we're certified. There's no effective category for the wound care category. So without us having the certified organic stamp on the product, there's no reason why we should be using the word organic to market the product. So we've stripped it away, and we've gone back to basically calling it natural bamboo, which is basically the way we use it, utilising the product anyway. We're the only compostable product on the market because bamboo simply composts in soil. There's no toxic offset. We've got studies whereby in 10 weeks in sandy soil, the product completely breaks down to nothing. It's on our website. So the byproduct of making something that was soft and natural and caring for a problem has also got a really solid after effect benefit on the ecosystem, and the way we make the product's all sustainable through the way that you dispose of it. We can't control where you put it and what you do with it. So if I know that the product has got minimal impact of the way you get rid of it, even though I don't know who the end consumer is, then we haven't got a problem. So the whole thing about Nutricare is now we've thought about Patch being the little core product, and from that little core product, we've got a distribution network now spanning 25 countries in just over 13 months, 14 months in total time.
That's so crazy.
It's nuts.
I remember when you first started.
Yeah.
So can you explain Patch as the product? So Nutricare is the business, and you have several products underneath Nutricare.
We're building more products from Patch.
Oh, I'm so excited. Do you want to tell us any little information? Anyway, we'll start with Patch. So tell us about Patch. What is Patch?
So Patch is it's a 100% bamboo fibre. It's 100% certified organic bamboo fibre wound care dressing.
Yes.
We developed it because of my son's issue with the irritation to another product. And my eldest son, Xavier, he doesn't like ointments. So if you get an antiseptic ointment or a cream out, he'll bolt the other way at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So one of the thoughts was, if we're just going to make another plaster on the market or another adhesive strip on the market, why not do things a little bit differently? So we created 4 different products. One's a natural bamboo product. The other product is a coconut oil enriched gauze for children. So the typical thing, what you do with a graze on a kid is slap him down with coconut oil, and it actually is amazing. It draws redness and does all the things it does naturally without any claims around it. We developed an aloe vera product, which is for burns and blisters. So an extract that's placed into the gauze of the product for burns and blisters. Perfect for high heels and all sorts of things. You don't need the high heels.
No. You know what? I'm like a hippie. You could put me on a beach with no shoes and I'm the happiest person in the world. But you know what? I could still get real sores on my feet, so I still need you.
Yeah, still need it. And then we've developed an activated charcoal product, which in a lot of applications, activated charcoal is one of those products that is amazing. It does wonders as far as in the right application. You put it into a smoothie, it does nothing. Right? Because it sucks all the nutrients out of what you're doing.
Activated charcoal
so you can have an activated charcoal smoothie or something like that, and it will simply suck out all the nutrients that you want to absorb, and it won't allow them into your body. So there's a good and bad side of using activated charcoal. In a wound care scenario, it's like a big sponge and it sucks on your skin. So when you put it onto a bite or a splinter or a infected type wound, we're not allowed to say a claim about how it works. But effectively, if I talk about activated charcoal, what it does is it's like a big absorbent. So it's like putting a sponge onto a big puddle of water. It'll just draw things up. So we've had cases of, we've had people write in saying it's taken the sting out of a bite. We've got a case study on our website whereby it's actually shown over 10 days how it healed a whitetail spider bite under medical supervision. And the healing process was amazing on that. It's like literally every day was taking a photo of what happened, and now the skin's hardly even scarred. So
and
the
I
benefit
think that's
around
just
that.
from charcoal, activated
The charcoal itself, you can see one of the comments that was on day 2 or day 3 after we started with her, all of the throbbing up her arm actually slowed. It basically went away, so it wasn't throbbing after putting our product on her wound.
I use it to brush my teeth.
Brushing your teeth is good.
So much whiter.
Yeah, brushing your teeth is good. The main thing about the charcoal with the toothpaste is it actually is like little porous balls. So it's more about the polishing effect rather than the benefit of what charcoal does.
Interesting.
And it will absorb, but it won't. The only thing that actually does in toothpaste is it actually helps polish.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you for letting me know that, because I didn't understand how. I was like, why are my teeth getting whiter?
Whiter. So it's more like little polishing balls that are basically on the toothpaste. Right through to, so that's our range of patch strips that we've started with, and then we're bringing out some future products in patch, which we're doing larger format patches.
Yeah. Great, actually. Yes, I needed one of them one day. I was like, I wish they were bigger.
And we've also been reached out by veterinary clinics and all sorts of supply when it comes down to horse treatments and dog treatments and things like that. There's a massive movement happening overseas around Asia about treating animals in the right way and obviously applying the right products.
Like us. Why can't they? Yeah.
So we're now potentially developing a whole range of things that are all different sizes and shapes and things for diabetes. As far as diabetes injection ports, anywhere where someone has to wear an adhesive on the skin is what we've got the pretty cool product now that doesn't cause any irritations. And the main thing about bamboo fibres, it allows you to it allows a wound to breathe. So the benefit behind that is that we can provide a healthy healing environment that sort of it gets along with your skin. That's probably one of our little taglines. But effectively,
it's your best friend.
Yeah, it is your best friend. But from our perspective, it gives us a product that we've got the larger format units now that we're looking into on the R&D, and we're working with Manuka honey, working with tea tree oils or Manuka oil as componentry. When we go to Manuka honey, it's great, but we also that's one product that's not a vegan favourite product.
Yeah,
it is amazing on wound treatments, but we're also looking at a tea tree version of that, so there's also that level of, that's what Manuka is at the end of the day.
It's medicinal. So, any honey's medicinal at the end of the day.
But in the vegan world, it's treated in a different format. So we want to satisfy all areas of the market, so we don't want to just have one or the other. Ultimately, right now, everything we do is animal free. There's no animal derivatives in our products. We don't test on animals with patch or anything like that. And Nutricare's goal is to provide things that care for the consumer and care for the environment, but doing it naturally. So everything from the way that we package to the way that you use the product, the way that it benefits you, has to fit within that core ethos about what we're doing with Nutricare. So we're looking into hygiene products, we're looking into baby space, we're looking into multiple different categories, and doing things differently than other products. And I want to create another product that's going to be a competing product to another brand. We want to go in there and shake the market up and disrupt it and have fun.
You already have.
Yeah, so in a little way.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about the other day. Is I watched a documentary, and it was just the plastics that are in our oceans, and not just the plastics. Like, we all know about that. We kind of just turn a blind eye, which isn't great, but people are becoming more and more aware. But we are eating fish that are eating plastics, and that's what we're consuming.
Yeah. Well, the number one effect of the worst thing that's in the marketplace right now, and unfortunately everybody has them or most people use them, is plastics that have come out of clothing. So it's the lycras and the spandex and the things like that.
I watched a documentary on this the other day. It really opens your eyes.
It does, and it's the microplastics, obviously, the fish consume that you don't even know that you're eating sushi or you're eating something as far as a raw fish. Well, basically, guess what's laden with microplastic. Microplastic is probably the worst thing out of it in the market, because the bigger plastic parts, yes, you can get a trawler, yes, you can get it scooped up and yes, get rid of it.
Yeah.
But my core thing, and it's the way that I've been sort of looking into the market over time now for the last, I've been sort of assessing it since we started with patch, was it's not about the problem. We haven't got a problem here in Australia. We haven't got a problem in America. We haven't got a problem in most educated countries. The problem is the market spaces where the education isn't there. The core root of the problem is in markets whereby they're not educated on this problem at the early stages. So rather than just say, hey, we've got a problem, yes, we've got to clean up our rubbish, yes, that's a problem, so we should be not lazy and pick up our bags and pick up our things that are thrown out in the street, that end up in the waterways, end up in the beaches. We're just lazy, right? There's bins everywhere. We're just lazy consumers here. Whereas overseas, and you look at the markets, in certain markets in Europe, they're not being lazy and there's no issue there. But the areas that you do see the problems, and you stem it, and I hate naming countries or regions, but you look in Haiti and you look in Indonesia, and everything comes in plastic. You look in China, everything comes in plastic. So you might go to a shop and you buy a chewing gum, right? Chewing gum, it's this big, and the first question they'll ask you, you want plastic? So it's about the education point of those people, and stemming back down to the schooling of the way we bring people up in the world too. So unless we start hitting the core, unless you hit that core now, it doesn't matter what you do to fix up. You will be cleaning up all you want, but guess what? They're not educated on what they're going to do, so they're going to do the same thing, and it's just one big rolling circle. So my thing right now, and what I've been working with over in America, and getting a whole structure around the way we do things, is to really bring that education point back in from Nutricare's level. If they're not educated on it, then we've got to fix it in the front end. Like you go into a health food store today, right? There's brands after brands after brands that are wrapped in fucking plastic.
I think it's fine.
Can I say that?
You certainly can.
But it irritates me all the time. You've got these eco-loving, friendly environments that actually support the environment, and the people that buy the products and care for the products.
In plastic.
Guess what? Everything's in plastic.
Now, I have spoken to people about this, and the reason being that there's laws governing what they can put things in.
Yep.
So it actually goes higher than the actual product. We need to change the laws surrounding that. What is the answer?
Well, you
glass?
need other solutions.
Absolutely.
Right, and the problem is with glass is at the weight. So it becomes a heavy product to transport things around. We're doing the same thing with patch right now. We had to have it wrapped, well, on one side it had to be with a biodegradable film, which is the only part of our product that's biodegradable. Everything else that we do is compostable. So you can buy the product off the shelf now, you'd have to put it in a biodegradable bin, okay? If you take the piece of plastic or the biodegradable film off one side of our product, everything else that you've got, the container, the tube, everything else, is you can throw it in the garden bed. So what we've just had is we've had a fight with regulatory bodies around the world. We've argued the point of what we had as far as being, we want that removed off what we do. So now it's paper on paper and bamboo. And then we've got the recycled tube. So everything now is paper. So you can buy the product off the shelf and bury it in the garden as of next year. So
that's incredible.
That's one big step, right?
Crazy,
so that's one step, but we've retained the sterile environment by using waxes on the paper. And from our point now is we've actually got a product that's sterile, and it works as far as an eco washout. So we're not worried about the way we make the product or the way it gets disposed.
And that's the thing. It's not just about the product.
No.
It's about the packaging, and people don't think about that.
Yeah. So there's lots of attempts out there at the moment. I think one of the core products that I was working with last year was a plastic-free bag and made out of tapioca starch.
I was talking about this with someone the other day. Yes, please go on. I want to hear all about this. Where are we at with that?
So we pulled back from that because the main core was you had to isolate componentry of the product and make sure the resources there to actually make the product in volume. One of the core ingredients that kept on pushing back on it was palm oil, and we pulled away from it because of the palm oil factor. And any bag that's out there at the moment, the tapioca, biodegradable, compostable bags that are out there, I can almost put my hand on my heart and say it's got palm oil in it. So palm oil at the end of the day...
Do they have to be honest about that?
They don't have to tell you. So there's groups out there, but honestly, look, at the end of the day, they're making amazing changes. The product is a very good product. The fact that it actually washes out and breaks down and doesn't pollute the environment. But the product doesn't actually physically break down in water.
Well, is biodegradable the answer?
Biodegradable is a dirty word as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
So I don't like biodegradable as far as the term because the actual physical meaning of it doesn't really mean anything. So it was marketed to be an amazing solution, but the actual solution, it's not a fix to the problem.
Well, again, we're falling victim to marketing ploys.
Yep.
Everyone says, "Oh, it's great, no worries," but
Yep.
if you actually looked at the process and it ends up in the ocean, and these poor animals are, oof.
So there's plenty of that. So my job now, from Nutricare's perspective, is to basically make change. So what we're doing with any product we put on the shelf, we do it in a humane way for starters.
Ethical
The
way.
second point is it has to be sustainable about the way we produce the product. The third point is we're working towards getting a global footprint as being a trusted brand. So we want to build something that does make a change. It makes you feel good about using our products. So unless you have a good experience, it's, what are you going to do? You're not going to come back and buy it from me. And the other point is we're not going to make a change if that happens.
What are 5 things that people can do now to start making small changes? Because people are not being more mindful of the way that they're living at the moment. They are just going to supermarkets, getting plastic bags, not really thinking about it. Obviously, that's becoming more mainstream now. But what are some things that people can do to start making small, apart from buying patch, of course, we all have to buy patch, that's our number one. So what are 4 other things that people can start doing to just make small changes every day?
Easy ones to do is put your rubbish in the appropriate bins.
Oh yeah, that's
a very, very hard one.
Einstein, that one, isn't it? Yeah.
It's really, really hard. If you read a label of most products these days, if you start following labels, you won't buy anything. You'll starve. So, effectively, just try and do things the cleanest way possible for yourself. I think the more we push towards not just organic, but we actually push towards basically getting back to more sustainable farmings and more sustainable growing of fruit and vegetables and things like that.
And ethically clothed. This is like Organic Crew. This is ethically made, and there's also Justice Denim, which does jeans as well, and they're phenomenal too. Like people are becoming more inclined to buy ethically made clothes or sustainable clothes these days too.
On an awesome level, it's great to hear that. I'm one that sort of still is buying nylon things and things like everybody does. I think to live and breathe it is it becomes a bit of a how would you say, it's a bit of a oxymoron when it comes down to the way we live our life and the way we are portrayed out to market. And I think the major changes is it starts with the core roots. It's like teach the kids how to live life in the most. That's probably I'd put that as number 2 or number 3. I'd say number 3 would be that. Number 4 would be make choice. So if you can get something without a straw, just drink it out of a glass.
Exactly.
Simple little things like that. I mean, the whole straw movement right now has changed dramatically. What I don't like is metal straws. I think and commercial graded straws like that, because I don't like them because it's what I've seen in my own household. My kids, we bought some, like everybody buys them, and have you had a look down the centre of them?
You've got to clean them.
So if you don't clean them, so if you're getting a drink in a commercial environment, how often are they going to sit there and clean out a straw? So my concern is that that sort of thing. Yes, it's a quick solution, but it hasn't been thought about. So a straw still needs to be a disposable solution, but it's the way that you do it. Like I was in Bali in August this year. The best thing I've ever seen, and it tasted really good, was they got raw bamboo. They sliced it off and they ran a stick in the middle of it, and they put the bamboo straight in. So it was raw bamboo sticks inside in the drink.
Oh wow, that's really smart.
And it was really clever. It was simple. Unfortunately, you can't do that everywhere.
Just carry a stick of bamboo in your pocket.
Chop this off.
Guys, I'm here. Who wants some?
But you can't do that sort of anywhere. But that's being smart. Little things like that. I still believe if the right paper straw comes around. I mean, the problem is that everyone's gone on this paper vibe. They're all buying cheap papers, and you just don't know how they're made. And so there's no real solution. The old solution is you pour a drink into a glass and you drink it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the kids
without the straw.
Give me a straw. But yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's those little things that make change. I mean, the more people demand something too, the more that's going to flood the market. So the more we can push back on certain things, the better. And number 5 would be just educate yourself. So you can make conscious decisions, and that's not that hard. You pick up a book and read it.
Yeah.
I think there's
read
so
a documentary. Go to YouTube.
Yeah, go to YouTube. Yeah. I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theory media. I don't like fear factor media. I don't like any of that space. So it's really hard these days to cut through the crap and find good quality, reliable, honest content, and you can't get it anywhere. It's really, really hard to get. I think I enjoy sort of listening to a podcast that, you know, that is real and raw, as opposed to being doctored or maintained or anything like that. And like I sort of dropped the F-bomb before, it's sort of, that's the way I am.
But your podcast with Jeremy Kahn, that was amazing. Go look at that one. It's really good. And there's a couple of F-bombs in there, and it's great.
From my side, it's like, okay, how do we shake the market up, change what we do, produce things that are better, cleaner, more efficient, and, you know, if we can do that in a really cool way, let's have fun.
Now, you're just not about patch. You're moving over to LA, and you're about to change things up. Like, what are you going to do over there? Like, what's your goal?
Where
does James Dutton want to go?
We want to fix that. There's 25% of the market currently globally that can't wear adhesive strips. So
never would have known unless you brought that up.
So that's the first and foremost, is to try and find a way to get that solution to that market.
Yeah.
Second point is, once we've got that established, we've got multiple other products that we're going to start shaking up the categories in different ways.
You want to give us a little bit of insight?
We're doing, obviously I gave you a little tip about what Patch is doing, but we're doing a sports tape. So a bamboo fibre breathable sports tape that doesn't react.
Well, that will go nuts.
So that's going to come out March, April next year. We're launching.
Watch this space, huh?
And then the other categories that we're disrupting and we're going to have fun in, I sort of can't say too much. But they're going to keep an eye open, because Nutricare will become, hopefully, my goal for us is to get a solid market saturation across America very quickly. Europe's gone absolutely bonkers for the product, which is fantastic. And we've got a very, very solid distributor over there. They're forecasting some great growth, and you know, some amazing retailers are coming on board throughout Europe. It's nice when you get a phone call like I copped last night from our one of our sales guys over in Europe. He said, well, in the last couple of days I've just got 4 countries. I'm like, okay. So it's 4 new countries that are actually taking Patch into countries. We're not talking about shop or a suburb or countries in one whole sweep. So it's literally at that level. So we're getting drops happening all over the place. I want to build that as hard as I can so that we can actually then support various different charity things that we do along the way. We don't believe in selling our products for making you buy our products so that we donate money to a charity. I don't believe in that space. My
you
focus,
will support charities throughout the way that you're aligned to.
We're doing it our way. So when there's a disaster or a relief, we'll support it in the right way. And obviously Patch is a wound care product, so we're going to do it in the right format. But I don't want to hold a consumer ransom to buying my product so that they can think there's a donation going up, because there's a lot of that going around. It's the same old story. You know, what ends up being with the charity, it doesn't work in that way for me. So there's groups that specifically focus on charities, like Thank You and those sort of things, and I love it, right? They're brilliant. But they're totally focused on that. I'm not going to say, I'll buy my product, I'll donate $1 to a charity as such. We're better off just being spontaneous and reacting to situations and ways that we can actually make a change or make help. And that's what we're trying to do as well with Patch. But Nutricare will become a trusted household brand. That's what we want to do. Are you still
working on the plastic bags?
In a different format. So what we've taken is that concept, stripped away the nasties like what I was talking about, and looking at different ways of using it. So and I can't say too much about that, but that'll be coming along.
Do you like how I keep on probing information, and I'll get there
going.
Eventually?
But there's lots of cool stuff that we've got on the cards.
And I know you, and I know it'll happen.
Yeah, so we've got a goal. Yeah. So our goal is to hit the global market, and that's what we're going to do.
So you heard it here first. This is James Dutton. Watch out for Patch. It's in chemists.
It's nationally, we're 1,500 retailers now across Australia.
You're on Facebook and Instagram?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter's slowly growing, but getting there. Getting the Twitter ready
words,
for the US.
Huh? Yeah. Everyone's about, no one cares about the words, huh? They just want the pretty pictures, huh?
Yeah.
So watch Nutricare. So Nutricare is the big business.
That's the big business, and then we've got Patch. some
and a couple of
cool
other
other products that are going to come
We will
along.
bring you them soon when he gives me some more information. Maybe when the cameras have stopped, you'll be able to tell me a little bit more.
Keep probing.
Yes, so this is his story from Ferraris now to sustainability. It's pretty incredible.
It's a reverse scale.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like literally you hit that and now I'm going backwards. But no, it's going back in the good way.
No, you're going forwards.
Yeah.
You're going way forwards. So, yes, this is his story. Just be more mindful of the products and where you get them from because, as James said, you never know what can be in them, including palm oil, which is not good for our orangutans.
No.
So, thank you for listening to Happy Souls. If you love this content, please subscribe because we want to bring you more people like James that are making a huge difference in this world.
Thank you.
And, yeah, we adore you. You're ace. Give me a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.